Hello, good evening. Ramadan Mubarak to all our Muslim viewers within the country and beyond. You're welcome to State of Affairs live on GH1 TV. Tonight, we're looking at the expectations of electorate as political parties prepare to launch their manifestos. Does anyone read the manifesto at all? We'll be finding out tonight. And what will be in the manifesto? We'll be joined in the studio by Kofi Adams. He's the national organizer of the NDC. Also, the Honorable Dominic Nitiwul, MP for Bimbilla constituency, and also running again on the ticket of the NPP, and Deputy Minority Leader. Also joining us for the first time on the show will be Theophilus Tettey, who is an aspiring parliamentary candidate for Ablekuma West. We'll find out tonight if he will heed to calls by the NPP to rescind his decision to run as an independent candidate. So do join us. Also, if you've been monitoring the news today, the word confusion have come up most. Well, we'll find out who is more confused, the NDC or the NPP. They both think the other is more confused. So stay with us. In the meantime, let's take a look at some stories. Muslims around the world are marking the start of the holy month of Ramadan today. Ramadan is marked by intense prayer, dawn to dusk fasting, and good deeds.
Ramadan started today, and Muslims around the world are preparing to abstain from eating and drinking during daylight for a month. The State of Affairs team visited Nima, one of the Muslim communities in Accra, and it was as busy as always, albeit Ramadan started today. During this period, they mostly live on fruits.
This year Ramadan, actually, we just started. Today is the first day of Ramadan. In fact, it's all about preparing yourself for 1 month, making sure you go away from eating and drinking and even having an affair with your wife. Those who have wives, you have to stay away from it. But you start with some fruits. But the fruit that you have to avoid is vitamin C. It's very, very dangerous. When acid, because of the acid content. Because of the acid content in orange, pineapple, you have to try to avoid it. So our health, the doctors and those, paramedics have been advising us to avoid taking acid food.
During the fasting, like if it's around 6 o'clock in the evening, that's the time that you are going to break the fasting. So you have to eat this first because it is what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ate when he was going to break his fasting. It's called dabino, but we call it dates in English. So everybody eats it.
They start the fast as early as 4 a.m. and end around 6 p.m.
You could see that this time around, even if it is, when it is 4:30, 4:40, you see that the weather becomes brighter. So you have to avoid eating at that time. Because the moment the weather is becoming bright, then that means you have to stop eating. Please, latest by 4:45, you have to stop eating. Breaking of the fasting, actually, we look at the day. Every day has its own time. You can sometimes, when it's 6 o'clock, the weather, you can break your fast. Sometimes 6:05, 6:10, 6:15. Sometimes it goes up to 6:20. It depends on the weather. So every day has its own day, has its own time of breaking the fasting.
For most of these Muslims, peace, blessings, and prosperity from Allah remains essential.
Still on the start of the Ramadan, President Mahama has called on Muslims in the country to pray for peace for the upcoming general elections in the holy month of Ramadan. Muslims in Ghana, as you know, are joining millions across the globe for Ramadan after it was confirmed the moon had been sighted. Muslims during this Ramadan period are expected to fast from dusk to dawn or dawn to dusk for about 28 to 29 days. President Mahama said he was hopeful that the peaceful coexistence between Muslims and Christians in the country will continue at all times. He added that the new National Mosque, which will soon be commissioned, will serve as the custodian of the tenet of Islam that will help shut out the doors to extremist influence of radicalization and terrorism. And also Nana Akufo-Addo tweeted as Ramadan kick-started today, and he said he wished all Muslims Allah's guidance and peace as they observe the Ramadan, and he ended by saying Salam Alaikum. Now, that takes us to other stories. A member of the NPP's disciplinary committee at Ablekuma West constituency, William Kofi Akako, has cautioned the former chairperson of the constituency, Theophilus Tettey, to desist from going independent or risk being expelled from the party. Joseph Armstrong Alugbe and Abena Kantanka report that posters of Theophilus Tettey as an independent candidate are already out in the constituency.
Theophilus Tettey, former chairman of the NPP in the Ablekuma West constituency, withdrew from the parliamentary primary race after accusing the incumbent MP Esla Owusu Edufo of manipulating the process. His decision to withdraw was also informed by the National Executive Committee's verdict to allow 2 registers to be used for the primary in the area. His refusal to partake in the exercise left Robert Nicole to compete against Esla Owusu Edufo, who retained the ticket. Several weeks after the primary, posters of Theophilus Tettey as an independent candidate has been spotted around the constituency, although he has not made any official declaration of going independent. Speaking to State of Affairs earlier today, member of the NPP's disciplinary committee in Ablekuma West cautioned Theophilus Tettey against going independent.
You are in a party with somebody and the person has gone out and say, I am not with the party anymore. Will you spend the rest of your life with somebody who is not in the party that you have served for all this while? I think the answer will be obvious, no. So anybody that goes out and say, oh, I was or I am MPP and I'm going independent, it means it's going against the party. And therefore, you cannot support that person. Supporting that person will be suicidal to your political faith. It's like this our adage. Openi otifia yawe nankano. Yakanankan refua okahubi. And therefore, it explains that if you go along with Theo on his campaign as independent candidate, it's obvious that you are also an independent person, because MPP will campaign for MPP member. And if you are going on that line, it means all the consequences that will happen to Theo as well will visit you.
The question is, will the fortunes of the MPP be affected should Theophilus Tettey go independent?
We are not scared at all. But you see, even in the Bible, when all the sheep have come back home and it's left with only one in the bush, you have to go and look for it. If Theo happens to be the only one in the wilderness now, we have to bring him back. If you really want to come back. This area, we know their voting pattern. No independent person has gone even beyond 1,200 votes. They always remain in the hundreds, like 150 thereabout. And there is no way he can cross over.
All right, so that was a story from the Ablekuma West constituency. And tonight we'll find out if Theophilus will indeed go independent or listen to calls from the executives of the party in his constituency to rescind the decision to go independent. In the meantime, we've got our election countdown coming up with Ben Epson. And this is the point where I remind you to download the EIB Election Hub app on iOS and the Android Play stores and participate in what has become my favorite, and I can't stop saying, the opinion polls. Last week, you saw what happened. Well, this week I haven't really quite monitored, but I'll be doing it in a bit. But download the app. Here is Ben Epson with a countdown to the elections.
EIB Election Hub. Expect more.
The IGP's suggestion on social media ban was in reaction to a question. But if you ask my opinion, social media is very effective towards the general populace when other aspects of media pick it up. We are now about 26 million. I don't think that social media has a penetration of 10%. Because I don't think that 2.6 million Ghanaians actively visit social media to have an impact on them. Social media fuels out through radio and newspapers, and I'll explain later. But if you radio, TV, newspapers are easily identifiable. So if I say that, look, Ima laughs a lot and it's not true, maybe he wants to be a serious lawyer, Ima can sue me, sue GA2 and sue Kafui or not. But social media is anonymous. So I believe that if a country has a problem with social media in terms of pushing tensions, they can pass an airline which will hold responsible aspects of media like print, TV, radio. Not that they should ban radio or TV or newspapers, but once the airline is there, you know that there is something on social media and you go and bring it, they will hold you responsible. But it's good that it has come out. But I think that if we are concerned, there should be an airline holding these identifiable aspects from reproducing the negativity. Most of the radio stations take the newspapers, especially the private ones. People discuss and they comment. When they comment on the front page of the newspapers, radio stations, TV stations put it on their websites. Then we, the print, IID Daily Dispatch, we go for some of those newspapers, stories, and publish it. Now, there are about 300 radio stations throughout the country. There are some papers, if they tell you that today is Monday, June 6th, you turn around and look at the calendar to check, because they have a history of misrepresenting the truth. When you do that, you hurt yourself as the media house. So you can see the interface between radio and newspapers and TV. If you think the elections are won by the number of press conferences you make, by the number, in 2008, there were candidates who for about 3 days running blocked all the TV stations in terms of payment of adverts. So if you think that, oh, today you are this radio station, phone-ins, people come in, attack you, or they do work for somebody, if you sit back or you parachute into Ghana at that time, you think that, this party does not exist. I have one hope, and later on during the countdown, you see what I'm talking about. I think this year's elections should be one of the most freest and well managed, because now everybody I make this. See you tomorrow.
So that was Ben Efson, and tomorrow morning you have a new episode of The Countdown on GH Today with Kafui Day and Beswa Dowuna Hammond. And I told you to download the EIB Election Hub app on iOS and Android. And you remember the whole of last week, President Mahama was leading Nana Akufo-Addo in that opinion poll. Well, it's Monday, a new week, and Nana Addo is leading President Mahama. He has 10,671 votes, and President Mahama has 10,149. We're taking a break. When we come back, I'll be talking to the Honorable Dominic Nitiwul. He's Member of Parliament for the Bimbilla constituency and also Deputy Minority Leader. Also joining us tonight will be Kofi Adams, the National Organizer of the NDC, and then Theophilus Tettey, who is a former chairman of the Ablekuma West constituency for the NPP. Will he go independent, or will he listen to the deputy minority leader tonight and drop that ambition? Do stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. This is State of Affairs, and we want you to join the discussion tonight by using the hashtag State of Affairs. We want to know what your expectations are as the political parties prepare to launch their manifestos. Joining us tonight is Kofi Adams, National Organizer of the NDC. Kofi, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Always good to have you around.
You know, I started the show with
Honorable Nitiwul.
So
yeah.
Today is another reunion.
There's never a dull moment around
and it's good,
both of you.
It's good I'm meeting him today. I've just returned from his constituency.
So you have a lot to tell us.
I have a lot to tell you about.
So you've seen the good work he's done.
He himself can truly, for the first time, admit about massive work going on in his constituency.
And not his power as MP.
Infrastructure that he hasn't seen before. No, he knows that is not coming from the MP's share of the common fund, which is part of the general revenues that we raise. Because even if it is from the MP share of the common fund, it's because we have raised enough, a lot more.
I'm sure he would have a few thoughts on that.
Oh, no.
Honorable Dominic Nitiwul is the MP for the Bimbilla constituency and also Deputy Minority Leader.
Kofi, my lobbying power is, my dear, my lobbying power is very great.
Yeah.
The work of a member of parliament is to lobby, to advocate for your people, to let people know your problems.
So if there's heavy infrastructure development, it means you've lobbied.
I have to. It is for me. If you see, how many times has the president? How many times has the president gone to the area? We don't have a minister from the area. We don't have anybody there. It is the MP who comes to Accra to say, my people need water, they need roads, they need electricity, they need this, they need... So if you see heavy this, come and carry me, Kofi. I've done so well.
You've done, but...
Marvelously well.
So it means you are accepting that government has done so well.
I never said government. I said I have done well.
But what? Do you lobby to God? Is it God that is doing that?
I'm lobbying to the state of Ghana.
And government is responding.
All right. So sitting in between the two of them is Theophilus Tettey. He is hoping to run independent. Are you going independent, or are you going to listen to the calls from the NPP not to go independent in the Ablekuma West constituency?
Thank you, Nanama. I hope certainly...
I think it looks like Kofi wants to advise you.
I hope Honorable Nitiwul is even going to affirm my independent candidate, including Kofi Adams today.
So you are going independent?
Certainly.
You will not listen to your executives in that constituency?
Well, the constituency executives are supporting me. As I speak with you now, they are even in the studio with me. They are the backstage. The entirety of the constituency executives are there. The former chairman,
they all resigned.
They've all resigned, including the area ward coordinators. They are at the studio with me at the moment.
Okay. So nothing Honorable Nitiwul will say tonight will change your mind?
Well. Maybe we'll talk, but we are set for the job.
But you know, in politics, there's nothing that's cast in stone. You know that. And he is very experienced in politics. If there are people who have really worked for the party, he knows. And he knows that being a member of parliament is not the only thing that you can use to serve your party. So we'll talk. He has announced it, but we'll talk. Don't be surprised.
The time Nitiwul should have spoken was when Nado said they should go and use 2 albums.
Please don't bring Nado's name in this.
When he said they should go and use 2 albums. Didn't you read the statement?
Don't spoil the conversation.
I'm saying that. Didn't you see the statement that they should go and use 2 albums?
Please, I say it is
to
run.
Oh, who said it? Who said? Who said it?
Let us.
You are educating us.
No, excuse me.
Who said so?
Let's be civil in this.
Who approved the use of 2 albums?
Excuse me. So your functional executive committee is Mahama.
No,
is that
of course, no.
So you think that NEC is Akufo-Addo in NPP?
Oh, it was NEC. So it was the whole NEC.
Of course, yes.
Not just one person.
No, it was NEC.
So when NEC itself, including Nituwo, decided that they should go and use 2 albums to run an election of different...
Is that the decision they made, that they will use 2 albums to run?
I'm saying...
What was the decision?
NEC took that decision. It could
so
be wrong.
If NEC, a whole NEC, I thought that it was just one person.
It is not possible for one person.
Then
you know that.
I would have admitted that he made a mistake. So NEC members, other NEC members could come to help. But if it is the whole NEC, including Nituwo, that sat and agreed that go and use 2 different albums.
Yeah.
If you come and your name is not in this, use this and use that. It's disaster.
Do you understand when the gentleman says he's been offended
so
by
how
the
is he going to? How is he going to?
Listen to me. Listen to me. Okay. Some of us, maybe you don't know our history. Back in 2008, he knows very well. When I came by election in 2008, the things that went on in my constituency, I felt very hurt.
Okay.
In one way or the other, along the line, somebody in the party will feel hurt. This man sitting here was suspended by the NDC. But today, excuse me, no, I'm coming. Let's be fair with ourselves and let's be fair with our listeners. He was suspended by the NDC. But today he's the deputy, he's the national organizer of the party today. That's how this system works. Today, you may feel offended by the system, but you believe in a certain system and you believe that whatever the case, I will stay in there and correct it. This man could have decided that I'm going to join another party. He could have decided I'm leaving the party. In fact, I'm even going independent. But you see, it doesn't work that way. You could genuinely feel that I am offended, but I believe the system will work in a certain way that tomorrow you might find yourself in a much better position. I'm not saying that he has no right to take a decision. And I'm not saying the party was wrong or the party was correct. But collectively, once a party takes a decision, collectively, what you do is you internally let the party know the wrongs and the rights, and then campaign for the party. Because generally, at the end, you want the party to win. And that's why this man decided, I'm going to stay even though I was suspended. He knew, whether rightly or wrongly, that the party has suspended him. We don't know what happened. He says, I didn't do it. The party says, you did it. But he said, look at the reward that he got from the party today. Listen, that's why I say that he's a grassroots man when it comes to the party. I've known him since 2003, right? 2003. And I know the work he has done in that constituency. Right. And I know the sufferings he has done in that constituency. Yes, it is unfortunate that things came the way it came. But I believe that he and the party will sort out these matters. Because he is a grassroots man. And the people who are today following him have all been MPP throughout. And they genuinely in their hearts want this party to come to power. And they genuinely know that once MPP comes to power, it is not about you being a member of parliament. The system itself will provide for them to be able to get what they want. The system itself will provide for them to be able to aspire to develop themselves. It's not about awarding, like what the NDC is doing, trying to look at party and no. Oh. The system itself will do it properly. So, Theo, I understand. It's just unfortunate I'm caught up in this web and Theo is announcing I'm going independent. But I hope that this is just the beginning of the talking process between us and him. But things will be fine.
So will you listen?
Well, let me say, Honorable Nituwo has given me a direct punch. And it's broken my teeth this evening by the way he's presented my story. I think he's spoken for me. People in the party, especially the sitting MP, if probably she might have conducted herself in the way Abraham, my senior Nituwo is talking to me, I don't believe things will go that bad. However, let me say I'm not contesting because I don't want to be in the party to fight or challenge or probably raise the issues that has occurred, whether rightly or wrongly. But when a decision has been taken and it has affected so many people in the constituency, a decision that is quite alien to our party's tradition, and the party will even follow up and come and inaugurate new executives to assist the parliamentary candidate, then clearly the party has decided I am sacking an entirety of the people who has worked for the party. The police station executives are the wheels on which the campaign runs in the party all this while. So if the party has affirmed, if all this had happened in the constituency within this short while, then it tells you that the issue had gone beyond you. It is not about me anymore.
But if you love the party so much, like you claim you do, you love the party dearly, you know going independent could affect the fortunes of the party in the constituency.
Well, me going...
Why would you do it? What is the guarantee that you would even win?
Me going independent would rather salvage the seat rather from the party losing the seat, because it is not about you going independent. The question is that like I said, he's giving me a direct point, and he's speaking for me. He said, being an MP, your work is to lobby. The current member of parliament, you only hear.
Well, she's not here to.
Yes, she's not here. Well. So let me keep.
I would advise that you leave her name out.
Well, but the greatest motivation, the greatest motivation for me going is the fact that the people in the constituency believes that they need better representation than what we are having in here.
Are you seeing the real problem that we face? You have an MPP person here. And can I finish? You have an MPP person here, and now I see what will go on in the constituency, and you have MPP attacking MPP. It doesn't serve well for the party. Somebody
you can't be doing this in parliament.
Somebody must agree to say that, look, let me sacrifice myself for the sake of the generality of the people.
So he should have sacrificed.
You see, that's why I said that in political party system, you may believe that today it is the people. You must always lie down and ask yourself whether tomorrow that will be the real thing that will help me. Because we all know, and he knows that the party is always bigger than any individual. Because we all go and come. Today we are there, tomorrow we are not there. Maybe for God, whatever the reason, we are not there tomorrow. But the party, the wheels of the party must continue. And he knows. And we are sitting here, you can mark it today. The MPP will continue to grow from strength to strength. We may represent the party today, tomorrow we may not represent the party. Like I've always said, the former president has had cause to complain about the NDC. Kofi Adam has had cause to complain about the NDC. They could have decided we are leaving. They didn't leave. He was spokesperson for the former president. The wife left and formed the party. He stayed. He's been rewarded today. So you should be the first person advising people to stay in their party and not took people and say go.
Okay, Kofi.
I'm not listening.
Don't listen to them. No, but it won't help us.
Is that every party that progress will progress on some wheels, and those wheels are the constitutional provision. I do know that the MPP pride itself that they are the Domo party. They understand democracy, constitutional fundamentals. If you throw all that to the wind and do otherwise, you don't expect your people now to come around and come and say, oh, let's forget all this. What would happen next? You cannot guarantee. If you had followed constitution, did you listen to him? He said that is alien to their constitution.
He's brought both albums, actually.
They didn't do things that is in the constitution. They did things that is alien to their constitution. So how do you subject yourself to continue to work for an organization that will do things against their own set rules that they have approved all this while, and use those rules, apply those rules indeed in about 273 or 74 of the constituencies, and apply different to your constituency just because you want to save one person? And so it becomes very difficult to get the person to kind of like give in that easily. If they had done something within the constitution, maybe they have clauses there that if they feel that the gentleman was misbehaving, suspend him, use the constitutional provision, and after you've suspended him, you say because he's on suspension, he doesn't qualify to contest. He may complain and complain, but you realize that you went through a process. But this one, it is use of bravado, strength. We have the numbers, we have said so, and it must happen, whether it finds space in our constitution or not.
But you wouldn't advise him to rescind his decision?
Advise? No, listen. I will get to that point. No, why should I be happy that we have a political party that is disrespecting its own set rules? First and foremost, he will not be the first.
Is that the first time?
You know what? He will not be the first person to have contested as independent. Indeed, in the parliament of today, we have at least about 3 independent members of parliament. So meaning that he will not be the first. The previous parliament had. The one before President Kufuor won elections had independent this. Indeed, the first parliament had independent members of what? Parliament for this 4th Republic. So he would not be the first. And that is why I will not discourage him, because he has a following. The gentleman is saying that party executives who contested for positions have resigned to back him. Meaning that he's not serving himself, but he's serving his people. And when you see somebody wanting to serve his people, I don't discourage people who want to serve their people. He is saying the representative there has not represented his people so well. And that is why they are resigning. So I would never discourage anybody who want to genuinely serve his people. Okay. The gentleman wants to serve his people. And it's not about whether it's MPP or it's this or I am happy. I am not happy.
Okay, we'll be discussing our manifestos pretty soon. Yes.
Also iron out misconception that has been there all this while, that Theo withdrew from the race. I did not withdraw from the race. What happened was that
who reported
my
that
processes were set aside. That is what happened. So I did not withdraw from the race. I only petitioned the process when this album was introduced to me, and I said, no, this is quite foreign to the practice. Because I bought the first album at the regional office, and I have run comprehensive campaign within the party for the past 1 year. So when you introduce a new album, and I said I'm petitioning the processes, and then you set my processes aside and go out and tell the world that I have withdrawn from the race, to me, it casts nail on my representation, because people has revoked confidence in me. And that is why I want to set that record straight, so that people in Ablekuma West will know that I did not disappoint them by withdrawing from the race, that the party set my processes aside and went ahead with the elections. I have no choice than to make sure that my face will appear on the ballot paper 2016, so they can take a decision as to who they want to represent them in Parliament.
No, but this is very serious, because this we didn't know.
I want to be very firm with you.
Let me just finish, and then you can have the last word. You can have or you want to go, then I have the last word.
He will have the last word. I know what you will say when you decide to have the last word.
Seriously, I'm hearing this for the first time, that not only did they not do what we knew and thought that they did, but they also lied on the gentleman. That he withdrew when actually he had a petition pending. Instead of them telling the world that, oh, we are ignoring his petition, we are not going to listen to his petition, we are going ahead to do what we want to do. They rather told a lie on him that he's withdrawn. Then now you come back and want to have a nice face. You have said Ntt'Wul with a nice face to think that he should come and convince him. When indeed Ntt'Wul is part of the neck that took that decision. That says, to hell with your petition. We are going ahead to do this. It's not good for our politics, not only in MPP. If it happens in any party, we must condemn it. And it's happening too many times in the MPP today. And that's the example we are having before us.
Ntt'Wul, was his petition
listen to
put
me.
somewhere?
Let me be frank with you. Nobody can force you to withdraw from a race. Not a race that involves you yourself putting yourself in that I want to contest. It's not possible that if a candidate has not withdrawn, that candidate will not find his picture there. Because if that candidate goes to court, the party will lose or this one will lose. So it's not possible at all that when you have a candidate, if I say I'm contesting and I am in the process, somebody will take out my name. It's not possible at all, unless the candidate withdraws. So Theo withdrew. That will help you.
He says he didn't withdraw.
Can I finish? Can I finish?
Yeah, I will. But let me correct
something. That will help your case. Because if you are not satisfied with a process and you withdraw on principle, that will help your case. Secondly, let me also be frank with you. So that's not the first time that this has happened. Even in his own constituency, that 2 albums have been used.
No.
Can I finish?
Can
I finish you? I'm just telling the world that that's not the first time that this usage of 2 constituencies has happened. And he was a beneficiary of such a thing. I don't want to go into the merits because we want. Can I finish? Because we want to solve the problem. I don't want to go into the merits, but I want to just state in principle that this is not the first time that it has happened. The processes of getting albums can be very complicated because of interested parties and interested personalities and what people think they want to use these albums for. Can I finish? So I'm very clear in my mind that controversy arose as to how the album was compiled.
Okay.
And it is not just his constituency alone. Several of the constituencies that even are standing now, that problem is existing. Menshanov has a similar problem. Your constituency had a similar problem. Different places had a similar problem. Okay? But his place, and then Ablekuma North had a similar problem. Ablekuma North, the MP's place, it had a similar problem. There were 2 albums. The MP had one, the constituency executives had one. When the regional executives met, they said, no, this one was compiled properly, this was not compiled properly, so that one we can allow to pass. But your case, it was not possible to resolve that matter. Otherwise, would have resolved it easily, and then all of us would have gone. It dragged and dragged and dragged and dragged. At the end, NEC was convinced that the best way to settle this problem is that, look, if there are two albums and different candidates who genuinely believe that they all compare the albums, put the albums there and let them contest. Can I finish? Put the album. He was the chairman of the constituency. That's what you should know. He was the chairman. And he was...
They compile as chairman, not as candidate.
Oh, please.
You see, no, if I can, I will come
on as candidate.
I say he was the chairman of the constituency. He compiled this album.
As chairman.
As chairman.
Not as candidate.
Oh, please, Kofi, can I finish? He resigned then to contest the city MP. Are you getting me right? Yeah. Unfortunately, the city MP, that's the unfortunate thing. The city MP also had another album, claiming that was a genuine album.
Okay.
Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Claiming that was a genuine album. So at the end, NEC was convinced that, well, to solve this problem,
they should go with
unfortunately for us, if the chairman resigned to contest with some other people and to solve the problem, let us. But you see, like I said, it was only the chairman who disagreed with the next position. And then decided that I'm not taking part in it on principle. But the others decided to go ahead. The other person...
Executives have resigned and they are supporting him. They are here in the studio with him. You are saying only the chairman disagreed with
you didn't hear what I said. Okay. I'm talking of the candidates. There were 3 candidates. The chairman, the MP, and then another person. Then the chairman said that, well, if they're going to use 2 albums, I'm staying out. So he didn't go in principle. The other 2 said, we'll go ahead. We don't have a problem. I just think that each of you in the constituency had problems. Because if I am an MP and I genuinely believe that you are a chairman and you resigned, you compiled the album and took me out completely and decided to resign to contest me, I'll fight you to the end.
So that is what happened?
That will happen. You should know that.
That is not what happened. I'm surprised that Nitiwo has taken a swift on the subject matter. The truth is that...
When he was speaking to make you happy, you called the man
exactly. Now he's taking a different tone altogether. Yeah. What happened was that I was a chairman by then. How do we compile an album per the rules of our constitution? National will issue a regulation. Region will supervise the regulation. And the constituency is the implementing agency. Under my leadership as a chairman, there was a regional representative who came there in the person of the then regional organizer, who came, and then the album was compiled by a committee that was formed. Chairman Ashite took me out of that committee at that time because ESLA has expressed interest in the compilation of the album. So they asked every electoral area coordinator to go to the grounds and compile the album. That is how come this album came to be. So I did not compile this album. The records are there. I did not compile this album. I was a then chairman, but I did not compile. And that was when the whole thing started. Okay. Right? My hands were tied, and this album was compiled. And later on, she came complaining that, oh, even the album wasn't compiled properly. The question is that how many people had benefited from the compilation of this album?
Is it the first time it's happening in your constituency?
This is the first time that 2 albums have been used in a parliamentary elections.
No.
In a parliamentary election.
Which other constituency?
In a parliamentary election.
I want to ask him whether this is the first time the 2 albums have been used in an election.
In a parliamentary election.
I'm not talking about parliamentary. In the constituency. Even where you contested.
I'm coming. Even that one that you are talking about.
So has it happened before?
It has happened, but not in this instance. No, I'm coming. No, not in this instance.
So you've had 2 albums before?
No, I'm coming. There's an album that was being compiled and it was challenged at court. And then Jake decided that, look, if that is the case, go to the grounds, compile an album. So people were asked to go again and compile an album. It was a situation where one person has been asked to compile an album
and bring.
So there are 2 different situations.
When you are building 2 albums.
Yes, so there was consensus building. In this instance, the bare consensus.
There's no consensus.
Right? Yes. This one person who is an aspirant has been given the leeway to go and compile an album.
Kofi doesn't know.
An album.
Kofi doesn't know.
Kofi actually knows.
For the sake of
he became chairman by 2 albums.
No.
Oh, really?
No.
You benefited from 2 albums.
Let me come in. That was a then
receiving text messages that is
you see? Let me come in.
I won't look.
You see? What he just referred to. Let me clarify.
So anyway, so you are going independent?
Certainly.
You are going independent?
Certainly I'm going.
Okay. My last point on this. I think it's very dangerous And I would have loved that Npp'S, after appealing to the gentleman, will move on just to condemn it and leave it at that. Because we are hearing serious things today. That someone, first he accused Theo that he was chairman and compiled a register that was to be used. It's been proven that he was not part. Assuming even without admitting that he was part as chairman. Now you allow an aspirant who has picked forms, filed and submitted, to go and compile her own album and bring that one. And that one is acceptable, as opposed to the one that was compiled by a regional rep, the electoral area coordinators. I have not heard this before. And it's serious, and I don't think that the gentleman...
And that album contains more numbers than...
More numbers than...
Oh, yes, that's these are the two. No, these are the two.
You're giving him oxygen.
You see, this one, you have the regional stamp on it, for the sake of the cameras. Now, this is an album that was compiled by Esla. You can see
without any stamp, no validation.
It contains more numbers than even the one here.
Okay.
And,
all right.
And why is it that they did not allow me to go and compile an album for Esla to compile? So that we put it together.
They use that.
Well, that was a principle that was upheld by Jake. So it was two different things altogether.
And I want that
imagine.
Can you imagine?
I don't want us to fuel. I don't want us to continue to
7th of November.
Excuse me. I don't want us to continue to be fueling these matters. The internal matters, we'll deal with it. I believe we have done enough. But what I'm saying is that this is not the first time, even in that constituency, that has happened.
Okay.
There was a precedence where we had 2 albums. He was a beneficiary of that. Trust me, I know what I'm saying. Can I finish? Can I finish? I'm just telling the world that it is true that in that particular constituency, 2 albums have been used. He made chairman with 2 albums. Unfortunately, the law of karma has gone around, and then we have had this. We have had that problem before. This party has had several challenges, just like any other party. We'll solve those problems as we move on. So
we expect
when Honorable Npp'S is saying that the law of karma has gone and come back, then it should come with the same conditions. These are separate conditions altogether. If you're talking about 2 albums, I'm saying that somebody, individual, who is an aspirant, has been given the leeway a week to the election.
So you should have been given your leeway.
Of course, then you can just oppose the 2.
So you have the last word, and I can discuss my manifesto.
We expect improvement in whatever it is that we do. If a political party continues to deteriorate and get worse day in, day out,
this is Kofi's oxygen.
We cannot sit here and say internal matter. That is why our national constitution, that Npp'S, all of us voted for in '92, says that the organization and practices of political parties so registered in this country must conform with the national constitution.
But you conform to national
They must be very democratic.
Do you know what happened? These guys are conscious. Their candidates never saw their album and went and voted. These guys, that's what they did.
Because the candidates
they never saw it.
The candidates are not supposed to.
How?
Per our arrangement. They are not supposed to.
If electoral commission refuses to give you the register of national, will you agree?
You see, Npp'S is a lawmaker.
Will you agree?
Listen, Npp'S is a lawmaker. The CI 91, and then the CI, is it 75 or so that we used previously, made it clear in there that political parties must be provided the registers before an election.
Why didn't your party follow the Ghana law?
Please. The Ghana law didn't say that parties be provided with registers.
That's what the law said. That's what you just said.
No. It says that it must be constitutional. Their practices must be democratic enough. Our constitution doesn't say that registers be given to aspirants.
And
it says, please listen, it says the compilation process was open, was transparent, was for all members. We did exhibition, we corrected everything, approved the register, sent it, handed it over to Electoral Commission to conduct elections.
Okay.
Anywhere there were issues, they were so settled before the election was conducted. That is a political party improving. But you keep deteriorating, and we must be worried about that.
Okay, thank you very much, Kofi Adams. You've had the last word now. Okay, so tonight we are discussing manifestos. Kofi, when are you launching your manifesto?
We fixed... we have proposed dates, and I cannot announce those dates now.
But it's soon?
Yeah, very soon.
This month?
Tomorrow, the National Executive is meeting, and when they meet, it's most probable that we will come out with firm the dates, and then we can announce. I think you hosted our General Secretary.
Yes.
And he told you about the processes.
Yes.
Everything is set. We've done it. We've looked at it. We've done all the corrections, and then it's gone.
And when are you launching your manifesto?
We will launch our manifesto before the elections.
Okay. That is so vague.
No, before the elections. Okay. We have been caught twice with NDC copying us and trying to counter whatever MPP said.
So you launch
They did that with SADA. They did that with school, the
free education.
And it's clear, everybody Ghanaian knows that you copied it. When Akufo-Addo said that he was going to give 1 billion as startup capital for the Northern Development Fund, then NDC, your mama said if we have such money, we should go and use it to do VRE or something that solved the energy crisis.
You see, yes, so you are struggling.
No, but I'm just telling you, that's what he said. Then
you are struggling to peddle a falsehood.
Then they realized that, hey, this one was catching up. Then they decided to go and do SADA.
You are struggling.
And instead of limiting it to the 3 regions, they decided to take half of the country. They couldn't implement it. The thing has fizzled out. It has become more like corruption.
SADA is working.
Please, I am in the north.
Is their
for God's sake.
Is their usual?
I am in the north for God's sake.
So you don't
then
see
free
anything.
education came.
When
Akufo-Addo said, I'm going to make sure that every child has free education, because look, with that free education, you're going to have this problem in this country, and make sure that basic school is extended to secondary school level, so that when you enter kindergarten, the first point of breakage for any child and say, I cannot more go, or I will not more go to school, must end at secondary school. So that you don't have a child breaking off a GSS and walk on the street. Yeah. It's a secondary school. Free to the end of that. And I will build 350 schools to cater for. You remember that argument? Then at the end,
they copied you.
No, they immediately copied. With the 200 secondary schools. Unfortunately, but that's what happened. Naraba. So go and learn your manifesto.
Did you copy?
Go and learn your manifesto before you
seriously shocked this evening. You see, this falsehood and lie was started by, they quoted Nana Kumia. Then he quickly came out to deny that, though he never said anywhere that MPP promised to build 350 schools.
But I can give you the document.
Please.
I can give you the document.
Please.
Jambafo was the one who presented that document. If you remember, Nana Akufo-Addo presented.
You had a chance to peddle your falsehood.
No,
so
it's
let
not
me.
falsehood. Do you remember Nana Akufo-Addo adored his manifesto?
Yes, I remember.
And at the International Press Center, it was Jambafo who presented that on education.
Honorable Nituwo, I have looked at MPP manifesto for 2012. Nowhere, from page 1 to the last page, nowhere do we have any promise of building 350 schools. Honorable Nituwo should tell us the page where they have that promise of building 350 schools, or forever will wear the cap of shame. But then moving on, free education is not a Nanado creation. Indeed, Nanado did not take part in the writing of the 1992 Constitution. Those who wrote the Constitution saw it necessary to put in the implementation of F-Cube, free, compulsory, universal, basic education. And it said that...
So why was Nanado criticized then?
Nobody criticized him. Nobody criticized him at all. We didn't criticize him. Then it went further to say that secondary education of all forms should also be progressively what? Free. Mm-hmm. Then it moved even further to tertiary. So our Constitution already provided a certain mandate and platform that education must be, as for basic, compulsory, free. Secondary and the rest should progressively be free. That was where we came with a policy that, look, to be able to introduce this progressive free, access is key. You cannot be talking about free when 50% of your population is not having access to secondary education. So focus must be on access. The MPP said, no, we don't talk about access. We should just go for free. Today, they are turning around to lie to us that they promised 350 schools. Indeed, when Nanado himself spoke on BBC Hard Talk, and they asked him whether he has costed his free education, he said, oh, he won't tell the world through BBC, but he will come to Ghana and come and tell Ghanaians.
Well, he also
ended
has
that,
answers.
Of course, but you decide to go on that platform to go and talk. When you had all these platforms in Ghana here, you didn't use them. So why wouldn't you tell us? Why were you talking? These days, he launched his policy statements abroad than even in this country. All his pack of falsehood is dropped abroad. Then it is fed into the local network. But in any case, moving on. So we said access first. And that was where we promised 200. Even the 200, they were challenging that it's not possible. Today, they are no longer saying that it's not possible. They say, oh, we have only inaugurated these so-and-so numbers.
Only 4, no, or 3.
It doesn't matter how many we have inaugurated. Even if it is 1, at least we have various levels. He needs to work. His constituency. There's a school project going on.
Honorable Little, is that true?
It's going on.
The first 50 schools in my
It's
constituency.
going on.
It is at foundation level for 4 years.
There's a project going
There's a
on.
community called Charatanga.
Please,
Foundation level for 4
So
years.
I didn't invite you. I only invited you to
level.
confirm. You see, when you award the contract, it's because you have secure funding for a project. That is when you award the contract. So once contract has been awarded, meaning that there's funding line for that project.
It's lying for 4 years.
Please, how has it been lying for 4 years? How has it been lying for 4 years? When did the project actually start?
It started 2 years.
So now you are saying it's been lying for 4 years. Now you are saying it started 2
but I'm
years.
telling
It
you
started
that
2 years ago.
I know when it was awarded because the letter was written to me.
Indeed,
right.
from the day President Mahama was sworn in, today is not even 4 years. So it could not have been 4 years. This is part of the falsehood they pack and pour on people. You cannot do that on this program. This is state of affairs. It's a program that you must present facts. From the date President Mahama was sworn in to date, it's not even 4 years. For you to say that a school project commenced 4 years and then it's been lying there and nothing happened. So that is another false. But moving on. So Danado gets out there and then says this. His director of communications says, so he's unaware of the figures that they are talking about. I think another person came out and also mentioned some figures. You could see clearly that this was a political party that was just visiting things on people without any foundation, without any calculation, without any sources of funding it. And it is characteristics of MP. That was not the first time. In the year 2000, it was done. Before Honorable Npp'S got a chance to enter Parliament through a mistake of one of our MPs.
Mistake.
Yeah. He made a serious mistake
I
that
see.
he didn't hail from somewhere. He went and contested on the cross of hail from, and there was by-election when we were in opposition. And they used incumbency. That was where you see serious abuse of incumbency in the by-election. In any case, before then, they had made such very interesting.
I don't even know why you are even adding this one.
Such very interesting. No, I'm just reminding you. I'm just reminding you. I'm just reminding you when he entered Parliament.
Because what he just said is spilling out
in the year 2000, they made all same type of promises. First, they said they would turn all chop bars to restaurants. Every youth.
They said they would turn
all chop bars to restaurants. Every youth.
When was this said? I don't remember.
Oh,
yeah, but I don't remember.
You see, I made a mistake. I should have come with their year 2000 manifesto. I made a mistake.
I don't know this
but
guy.
Nanaba,
I want you remember that?
This guy is worse than a propaganda secretary.
You know what? Nanaba, I beg you. Next week.
You bring me the document.
Npp'S and bring me.
Okay.
It could be Monday. It could be
Monday.
Tuesday.
We'll do it on Monday.
Monday.
Yes.
I promise you, I will be here. I will come with your year 2000 manifesto.
Okay.
Npp'S, please come.
I'll come.
Don't give any excuse that you are going to go to any constituency. Come. I will bring it.
I'll come.
They will turn all chop bars to
into
restaurants.
Who said it?
Yeah, it's in their manifesto. They will employ every youth.
Which page? I have read the manifesto. I don't remember seeing chop bars being turned into.
I'm not interested in
the pages.
Already there's a pain of knowing the lie. Then I don't want to carry another pain of knowing the page. So I've carried the pain of knowing the lie, and I don't want to carry the pain of knowing the page.
Okay.
Then every youth who is willing to work and ready will be employed. That's also another manifesto promise. And that all slums will be turned into high-rise, vertical housing. all these were promises. That was manifesto captured. Then political platform of fuel prices being too expensive, and then they will reduce it, and so on and so forth. And when they talk about jobs, agri, farming, and the rest was not part of the jobs they were talking about. That they are talking about white-collar jobs that you wait. At that time, the NDC have launched Youth in Agriculture project. They say when they are talking about jobs, it's not about going to grow pepper and then the rest. They said all these things, but they didn't do it.
Yeah, he's done.
So when it comes to manifesto promises, when it comes to manifesto promises, the MPP is noted for telling things that they don't do.
Hold on.
Nanaba, look, let me be frank with you.
Honorable, let me take a break. When I come back, you have more time to respond.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
This is former President J.J. Rawlings, and you're watching State of Affairs on GH1.
All right, welcome back. We'll take some tweets and other messages now. Kind Ketty MTN, everywhere you go. Samuel Brian Boabeng says, we won't throw away a diamond and keep a rock. Ursula all the way. Kofi Adabo says, we are ready to pounce on the NDC. They should be getting ready to leave. Parliament is a serious business that needs serious minds. And that's also coming from Samuel Brian Boabing. I don't know what you're talking about there. Mike says, I like the show. Well, thank you very much. Dana, can you please tell Kofi Adams to stop doing propaganda? Kofi, are you doing propaganda? I don't think he's doing propaganda. He's the national organizer of the party. You are not doing propaganda.
I've supported every statement that I made, either backed with a fact or quoting from it. How could that be?
I told you that I didn't know
it may be convincing to them and these guys are propaganda, but at least it's not a lie.
Okay.
It is.
At least it's not a lie that I'm
Hubert
telling.
says, I think Theophilus is telling the truth. 2 albums in an election. Abba, NPP. Kwajo Sam says, Danaba, Honorable Nitiwul and the executive should apologize to the gentleman and make him rescind his decision. Honorable, is this something the party will do?
No, I've already told you that we'll have a chat with him. Serious chat with him and his people. No, it's not about that. There's a brighter future than just being an MP. Please. You know that.
Honorable Nitiwul, you have
and
the chance now.
But Nanaba, like I said, for him, we'll deal with that matter. It's a party matter. We'll deal with him. We'll talk about it, and don't worry. And you will not see his face on the ballot. Yes.
What are you going to do? What are you going to
convince
do?
him to change his mind.
We will not see his face on the ballot. And even all the people who are there, we'll talk to them. They are party people, and I know they love the party, and it will happen. And
Truly, they love the party.
And you should not be surprised.
But not what you are doing.
Kofi,
Truly, they love the party, but not what you are doing.
MPP did not promise to change chop bars to restaurants.
What did they promise?
MPP said they will modernize the value of what our people own. What you call chop bar. And it has happened in Ghana. Between 2000 and now, see the way the Ghanaian culture of a chop bar business, what that has become. People now own restaurants, chains of restaurants. That's what we talked about. Maybe you don't understand the concept because you're not business oriented. Our concept of supporting small businesses is what we translated into what he using propaganda value to say
chop bars are not business.
It is not. You are not getting me.
Chop bars are not business.
Our party supports small businesses.
Okay.
And chop bars are not small businesses.
And the businesses that are operated by our women and Ghanaian businessmen are the chop bars, what he calls chop bar. And we have transformed it. Now look, you now have even foreigners willing to sit in a nice environment, which you call chop bar.
But who says foreigners will sit at chop bars?
Please, can I finish? Compare what you used to call chop bar in 2000 and now.
Wow.
See the culture now. See the environment now. See the way people view what you call chop bar now. It is changing. That culture is changing. People are now doing this serious business with what you call chop bar. That's what we did.
But the chop bars also do serious business.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
No, he says the chop bars don't do serious business.
Where did I say that? Maybe you are not even listening.
That's what
so
you are saying.
I am very clear in my mind that we have succeeded in changing the mindset of the average Ghanaian from what they used to call choba to what we now call
it
restaurants.
So change of name.
So the
change of name.
So the Ashanka Delight and Co. and all those ones now.
But a choba really is a restaurant, except we have a local name for it.
No.
It's like
we have all used to call it choba, and then
it's like JSS and JHS.
So we have done it.
Change
we have
of
rebranded it. We have done it. People are not happy. People are entering into businessmen who have money are not entering into that trade. And I'm happy that it has succeeded. Maybe we will improve it when we come the next time. I can assure you that. Into the McDonald's, take it to Togo, take it to Nigeria, all those places. We shall do that before. Because West Africa, across the whole of West Africa, will eat the same thing. So you want to encourage the likes of Asanka Delight to go to Nigeria and do pounded yam. You want to go to Cote d'Ivoire and do achake. That's what we're talking about. Maybe you don't understand the concept. Who will teach you? Secondly, any serious government want to find jobs for people. So when a government says we'll find jobs for people, what's wrong with that?
Did you find it?
Can I finish with it?
Where?
At least we had youth employment program of sport.
Where
and we'll resuscitate it when we come back.
Jesus Christ. You want to talk
that
about
concept
youth employment?
I'm saying that program you spoiled. At least we have National Health Insurance that employ thousands of people. Mass Metro that employ thousands of people. We had what we call school feeding that employ thousands of people. Maybe you don't know what it means. Okay, we created good and welfare. We changed the economy of Ghana from HIPIC to middle income within 8 years. That has made thousands of people get good jobs. Maybe you don't understand what it means by creating jobs. If you understand, you would understand that an economy that was HIPIC, that couldn't pay its debt, that was indebted, that their debt was 3 times their income in a year, and then within 8 years, that economy becomes a middle income that can stand on its own, and you sit here, you think that they didn't do anything? Maybe you don't understand. Look, I'm very clear in my mind that Akufo-Addo and his free education concept is the best idea that should happen to this nation. Ghana is relatively a very small country. If you compare it to the size of Nigeria, compare it to the size of Mali, compare it to the size of Niger, compare it to the size of Cameroon, compared to the size of Angola or DR Congo in terms of land size. Now, for population-wise, Ghana is very small if you compare it to Nigeria, compare it to Egypt, compare it to DR Congo. Lagos or the capital of Egypt, Cairo alone, the population is equivalent to that of the whole Ghana. The population of Lagos is almost equivalent to the whole of Ghana. The population of Cairo is equivalent to even bigger than the whole of Ghana, if not the same. Okay? So I'm saying that if you are disadvantaged like that, what you do is to export brains by making sure that all your people are sharp, like what the Ireland has done, like what India is now doing, like what China is now trying to do. You will let your people learn. So what another said is that, look, we cannot continue to pretend and say that government cannot support. Let government invest in education. So what do? Make education free. This progressively being free is not the panacea to the problem. Let government bite the bullet and make it free. So that education is not more
policy.
Education is not more the preserve of the rich. Education is not more because my father cannot afford, I cannot go to school, like what is happening now. Where people go to nurses training, only those who have money can go. Where people go for teacher training, it's only people who have money who can go. Where people go to the universities, people who have money that can go. That's not how it should be. Education from the basic school, when you are born, to secondary school, when you turn about 18 years, should be free for everybody and compulsory. So that basically, by the time you turn 18, when you call yourself a man, you can stand on your own and say yes. Woman. Or women, of course, when I say man, just covers everybody. Or even if I was to use the word woman, it covers everybody. It's it's the name that covers everybody. What I'm just saying, if you're a human being, and then by the time you tend to be matured enough, 18 years, then you can say, I want to be a carpenter, I want to be a mason, I want to be a footballer, I want to be this, I want to be this. You are being guided along the way. But at least you should stay in school up to 18 years. And government should pay everything free. That's what we said. Now, to achieve this, what do? We, at that time, said we're going to build at least 350 schools. Day schools that are very... Can I finish? That are very close.
We want to know.
And I'm saying that we still stick to that are very close. Then children can easily walk around. Okay. Because the question was, The schools are not many. You remember that at that time when they were talking about the infrastructure and that they were doing emergency infrastructure, we said, this is what we're going to do. And even at that time, I even remember Jambafo saying that because of the explosion of numbers, we may even as well turn some of the JSS schools immediately as a short-term solution. If you remember all this. And we also said, then NDC said, where will you get the money? Then I said, look, don't worry yourself.
The gentleman
we have oil resources.
His own information.
Oh, please. We have oil resources. That's the first tax. Go back to our distance check. We have oil resources.
No,
we will
reprioritize and check. No, I want to know.
We would reprioritize. Go to our manifesto.
Which manifesto?
I said we will reprioritize.
The 2012 manifesto.
The manifesto also goes with what we call notes.
Which
you cannot put everything in the manifesto.
He said it was not all
such key promise of 350 schools couldn't find space in their
Nanaba, can I finish?
It was captured in the manifesto.
I will go and check a page there. Can I finish?
You go and
I'm saying that it
checked.
goes with notes.
Okay.
And I'm giving you what we were planning and what we will do and what we'll still do for 2017. And I'm saying that, look, we will prioritize the use of oil resources. Okay. We'll win. The people of Ghana, with this mess, will win. The people of Ghana will give us the opportunity, we'll win. But I'm saying that we will prioritize the usage of our oil resources and stop the wanton corruption that is going on.
Okay.
I'm coming. Then two, the second thing
we have
is
waited for you for a long time.
If ever, when Nana becomes president in 2017, this corruption that is going on in our civil service, in our private service, in government circles, will stop. That alone, you can save close to 4 billion a year.
How is it going to stop?
You have a budget of close to 41 billion. And when the Auditor General, you read the report, you will for this nation.
How is he going to stop?
Go to Tanzania and
they
see.
have a plan.
Go to Tanzania and see. I'm saying go to Tanzania and see. They may mention that the man won the election. The police people who used to stop on the way and stop people for cars.
Which man?
Can I finish? The police people,
president.
immediately they stopped.
But Nanado, who is encouraging corruption in MPP?
Oh, please.
Nanado is encouraging corruption. He has been accused by his national chairman. He has been accused by the general secretary.
Please,
he has been accused by the vice chairman of encouraging corruption in his party.
This man, please forget about
that. This man,
the elected executives.
That
was suspended because they exposed a rot that is being
please,
spearheaded
stop
by
interjecting me. Nanaba, I'm very clear in my mind.
You should wrap up now.
I'm just wrapping up. I'm very clear in my mind that we have a very focused leader who will give Ghana a new dimension. Look at what is happening in Ivory Coast, our next door neighbor. It's not a shame that Ivory Coast is growing at 9% and Ghana we are growing at 3.9%. It's not a shame.
Okay.
It's not a shame.
All right.
Look at what is happening in Ivory Coast.
You have a thought on the manifestos. Are you voting for Nanado though?
Pardon me.
Will you be voting for Nanado?
The voting is a secret.
I know, but I just want to see if you are going to endorse
I know
it.
I'm going to go into an elections with Dinah Chum and then Honorable Slausu.
Okay.
Between us, I'll vote for myself.
But will you be endorsing
Presidential
Nanado?
is secret.
When you're campaigning,
presidential vote is secret.
I know, but will you endorse him?
Can't believe
you know,
presidential vote is secret.
I know, but will you be endorsing him to your
presidential vote
fans?
is secret.
I know it is a secret. I won't tell you who I voted for or who I intend to. But will you be endorsing Nanado?
When you ask.
I'm asking you a question.
I
of course he will. He just endorsed. He said Nanado will be a good president. But I'm asking you, will you endorse Nanado?
He said he will be a good
Well, that's what I'm saying, that my vote is going to be secret.
I know,
he says he will be a
it
good
is true.
MP.
But will you endorse him? When you meet your...
You know, I'm one of the people who signed Nanado's forms in Greater Accra.
Okay.
Yes.
So you will endorse
So if you're talking about I will endorse Nanado as a flag bearer, yes.
Okay.
But when you're talking about manifesto, I'm here to see our manifesto and compare and contrast. Because now, I hope you understand me, I'm going as an independent to deliver.
So the manifesto is not your problem?
No, not that, but I have to look at the manifesto.
His boss.
Because Nitiwu has set me aside.
I say his boss, the former president.
Okay.
When his party decided to denigrate Nana Akufo-Addo, what did the former president tell him? Go and ask Rollins about Nana Akufo-Addo. He will tell you.
And
who
I thought that Nitiwu should not be one of
Kofi, I'll come back to you shortly. Let's listen to what Sewa Mehir put together. She spoke to some people about the expectations of the manifestos.
Things are not going on well with the masses of this country. So what I expect from the MPP is that they shouldn't come with a manifesto that will create any problem in this country. And then the NDC too should, try and convince the Ghanaians that this is what we will do for you, so that you retain us and you see what we can do for you.
Oh, as at now, what I want to see is that the youth, now we don't have futures. The youth don't have future now. So they have to come to Nima or whatever Zongo where they'll be confusing. You know, they have where that they used to confuse them easy. So they have to go there and sit with them and convince them, transform them.
Manifesto, they always say it doesn't work. They come, they promise it doesn't work. I want to see any party that will come, that his manifesto will take position. What will be in the manifesto will work. That is all I'm expecting. But they always come out with their manifestos which doesn't work. Madam, do you believe me? Do you follow what I mean? They will say it, but when they come, it is not a reality. It is not something that will function. They just come and then they talk. We promise we'll do this, we'll do that. It doesn't work. The only thing I want from there is the youth. They should empower the youth, create jobs, not to go to China and go and buy chairs for our parliament.
Both sides in NDC and people, you know, one kind of way. In Kamian, the best friend say, "Oh no, Akasa, only dear, or no, rather no pay okay. No, me no pa dear, obi no kind of credit. I can't no fine, but on yet. Timmy knew bien, media no, obi no hamidity.
And the mere expecting sir, ABR. I'm back but Thomas man met to Abama, other party and our party B, and say, number one, ya quine, me a driver in to make a quine fessa. Now, at the Macmas pa. Number two, Yadishian is education. And I'm number three, electricity when some, and a four, any issue. And I feel you see Casamwa. I am my to me, Yamudis Cabe will mum. Ama yet to me. Juma Papa Bia and I say, Juma Kitwin Puna by Yampa, Bosim Gakadama, Humberto, and as with me, dear to be. I heard Bushama Smart Joe.
All right, there's a tweet here from Abubakar Mubarak, who says that, Honorable Nitil, there's a community senior high school in your constituency in Nakpayili.
Nakpayili is in Nanumba South.
Okay, so it's not your constituency. Okay, so...
And I didn't come because of by-election, well, like this man said. I came when Dr. Chambers resigned.
Okay.
Please.
Thank you for the correction. Yes, Kofi. Kofi, so it was not a by-election.
It was a by-election.
It was a by-election.
It was when Dr. Chambers resigned.
It was not a mistake.
Yeah, his was.
It wasn't a mistake.
It wasn't Wellency. His was.
Okay, so it wasn't a mistake.
I have said that the communities in this school, they want
it was a by-election.
It was a by-election.
It has put in
there was a serious executive influence in that by-election. That I remember very well.
Okay,
Kofi Adams.
Niti will try to paint a picture of things that did not exist. First and foremost, let me say that President Kufuor did the best within the resources that he had. And no wonder Ghanaians gave him another mandate. But if you look at what President Mahama is doing today, President Kufuor himself sits and he's full of admiration to what President Mahama is doing.
Really?
I am telling you that.
Moving the debt from...
Please.
NDC has moved the debt from 9.5 billion to 100
President
billion.
Kufuor, if the hawks
everybody
in MPP would allow proper democracy to take place in MPP, President Kufuor will be able to boldly tell. That is why, in a cheeky way, he told them, "Oh, don't worry, Nana Kufuor is going to win by 75%." When they went to Sunyani, what was the percentage that he gave? What percentage did he give?
He never said we are winning the election.
No, but he gave you a percentage.
He never said that.
Oh, he gave you a percentage.
He never said that.
I'm saying that.
I was there, please.
He said he gave that he himself.
It's not true.
As a gentle giant, could not even attain when the party was united.
Don't say your questions and answer. That is not true, please. Yes.
You see, if you look at President Mahama's promise in 2012, education, health, road infrastructure, port expansion, investment in cocoa, and other cash crops, rehabilitation of defunct factories and so on that were on the list of divestiture, you could see clearly a government that is focused and dealing with these problems methodically. Nanama, he talked about La Côte d'Ivoire growing at a certain percentage. That is normal. Everybody who studies economics and studies country know that any time a country that was doing somehow well and then goes down, it gets the opportunity once again to grow because the space is open. That is why you see the percentage growth of developed economies is sometimes around 2%, 1%, 1.5%, because the economy is now large. The base of Ghana's economy today and the exports are even more than that of La Côte d'Ivoire. That's a fact. So La Côte d'Ivoire coming, yeah. The
cocoa is almost double yours.
Please, I'm not talking about.
The cashew is double yours. What are you talking about?
Look,
they've actually overtaken India.
What are you talking about?
They haven't overtaken India.
Right, tell me which export you are talking about.
They haven't overtaken India.
They have actually. There was a report that suggested.
It was a BBC report that they have that, and people without checking just jump to the fact that, oh, they have overtaken
so
India.
The BBC lied.
Côte d'Ivoire has always been number one in Africa when it came to the issue of cashew. So they have not overtaken anybody in Africa. They have just increased. Unfortunately, instead of people checking and seeing what India is doing, what the rest are doing, we are running with a lie. It's like what Nanado does. Now he goes and says something. When he says, so I heard a certain Captain Smart said it on Adom, and that is why I'm also saying it. Or he heard this one say on radio. Nanado is no longer interested in cross-checking and correcting facts before presenting them. If you have this type of person presenting himself to become a president, you can imagine what will happen to a country. So he goes out there and go and say the government spend money to import diaries or print diaries, $10 million, when it is a lie. It's false. But because it inures to his advantage, he's feeding that as part of the lie. He gets out there and go and lie that the country is importing plantain when it is a lie, that we are not importing plantain. He gets out there and go and tell a lie that government has inflated the cost of the Reach Hospital project by 140 million when it is a lie. He gets on there to go and lie that the interchange for Kaswa has been inflated. Indeed, it took Little Will knows his ranking member for Road and Transport, Honorable Adiono. He came out and said, no, Nana, this is another falsehood. Me, I won't keep quiet. At least I'm a very respected person. If others will keep quiet, I will not. That falsehood, don't present it. Baumia follows and gets out there and also go and lie that government have diverted $250 million to go and use it for campaign purposes. When he's exposed now, he draws back and say the money should have been held by Bank of Ghana and it's been shifted. Okay. So consistently,
just 2 minutes to go.
Let me just quote something for him.
Please, you have
the time
a
is
government,
gone.
you have
the time is gone.
party
The time is gone.
whose agenda it is to always peddle falsehood. Okay. That is clearly what Nanado and Baumia
said, and let me quote, the West African, I'm talking about Côte d'Ivoire, the West African country overtook India in 2015 to become the world's top cashew producer and is expected to reach the focus of 725 metric tons this year.
And this is Reuters.
Reuters. Not even BBC.
BBC more reliable.
BBC said it. Reuters said it. And you are sitting there here challenging
BBC takes news from Reuters.
So Kofi Adams, you are lying.
Unfortunate
that
I did not get the actual figures. I listened to CNN report that talked about the performance of various countries in cashew.
Okay,
indeed, Côte d'Ivoire has been number one in Africa and continue to be number one. They have only increased because a company has established there to do proper and serious processing. Okay. It was the same thing. Dr. Ekospi Gabra, Minister for Trade and Industry, thought that let's begin to push and reduce the export and start processes here and have a assured market and let people get into that business so that Ghana can also move.
You can talk 1,000 times, eh?
There is
if you are not talking to people will not listen to you. So let others talk.
But there is revival of a number of companies.
All right.
Just not too long ago.
Only one to go. Commander Sugar Factory.
Commander Sugar Factory. And I'm surprised that some of you are not speaking.
About what?
I was on your program here the last time, and I talked about the date of what? Commissioning.
Yeah.
And you indicated clearly that it is the test activities that is going to start. And
so it is not the start of operation, the end of the month.
The actual will start in somewhere. You quoted, I think, September,
October. I think
that was what you were told.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, we all knew that, yes, it's test run. The president goes to commission in order to make information available to everybody who wants to go into sugarcane cultivation that this is now available, so start. All of a sudden, we are hearing all kinds of noisemakers and doommongers.
Well, I've heard that 6 months or 2 days, and I thought it was ridiculous.
Production haven't started.
Per Samuel's report, we were told that it was just a test run. It was not the actual production starting when it was commissioned by the president.
Nanama,
it will start later in the year.
Excuse me, it's not ridiculous. So what were you commissioning?
I would have expected.
Well, the company is ready.
It's ready.
And a test run is important.
Do you know how long it takes for... Do you know how long it takes for... Can I finish? Do you know how long it takes for sugarcane to ripen?
Did you know how dangerous...
So when you were building the factory, were you not thinking of production?
I thought that they build.
When you were building the factory, were you not thinking of production?
Without a single cassava.
So you are
but in this case, we have sugarcane that is growing.
The two of them
the man is just talking and talking.
Your last word, quickly.
My last word goes to the people of Ablekwa West. That hope is coming and hope is in view.
Okay, now you are campaigning. I said last word. I thought you were going to say you will be meeting the executives of the party to iron out your differences.
No, I've taken a decision.
Okay.
And I'm just
Kofi Adams is the national organizer of the NDC. Arabo Little is MP for Bimbila, and Theophilus is hoping to go independent.
No, his picture will not be there.
His picture. Okay.
His picture will
See
not be
you tomorrow. Have a lovely evening, everybody.
I'm saying.